Well, as you see here, we have 1,200 regionally accredited U.S. community colleges, 1,200 around the country, and our presidents, including Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, have really looked to America's community colleges as leaders in education and asking that more and more of our people get college education through the community colleges. So the community colleges are very popular in the United States. We have 11.5 million students enrolled in those 1,200 community colleges. The majority are seeking associate degrees. However, other students are looking at technical degrees and non-credit programs. We have more women than men, but it depends on the college the percentage of men and women. Each college is different, and if you attended a community college in Washington and one in Iowa, you would find they're very different depending on the communities that they serve and their programs and the businesses in those communities. Almost half of all students who get bachelor degrees in the United States start their education at a community college. Community colleges are truly an American invention, and we are based on some simple principles. Accessible, that everyone should have the opportunity to pursue higher education. The second is affordable, that everyone would have the opportunity to be able to afford to attend higher education through the community colleges. Accreditation, we have the same standards as, we're accredited by the same agencies as our four-year universities. For instance, Harvard and Seattle Community Colleges are accredited by the same organizations. They look for the same indications of quality and excellence, high quality instruction, student services, attention to students. So there's a definite emphasis on quality. We're also known to be adaptable. We can be a little more changeable than some of our four-year sister colleges.
Community colleges are different in different places in the world. You know, we visited a few of the community colleges here in Hong Kong, and we found that the models were similar but also very different. And in the U.S., for example, we really value the concept of transferability, where the two-year associate degree can transfer, and that it's very flexible to transfer. And so here in Hong Kong, we've discussed this with community colleges. It looks like it's closer to maybe 10% of the students who want to transfer can transfer, is what we're hearing. In the U.S., there are many options for transfer, and so that is something that we've seen as a difference. So since most international students who who come to the United States are interested in either bachelor's degree or graduate degrees, community colleges in the U.S. are becoming quite popular to international students, and you can see that there's a steady incline or steady increase in the number of international students who are coming to the U.S. to community colleges, about a 22% growth in the past 10 years, and we're seeing that growth continue into the future. Community colleges typically have a few different kinds of programs. One of them we've already talked about it briefly, and that is the transfer program. And we think of that as a 2+2 program, 2-year community college, 2-year university, and then you have your bachelor's degree. Of course, in the U.S. we have a 4-year college degree. Community colleges also have what we have seen here in Hong Kong, a lot of vocational programs, and what we sometimes call them professional technical programs. These are programs that are preparing students for work, not for transfer for a bachelor's degree, but for work. And the community colleges, as Jill mentioned, in different states, different cities, would have different technical programs depending on the needs of business and industry. So in Iowa or Kansas, you might have more agriculture-based technical programs because a lot of the industry is based on agriculture. In Seattle, we have a lot of health, medical, we have aviation, we have, of course, IT with Microsoft and those spin-off companies. So it's based on what the needs are in the community. And then community colleges also have the mission of serving students who are not yet ready for university level work. So we have developmental courses that the students don't receive credit. They're not earning a degree, associate's degree, but they're developing their skills. And it could be ESL, it could be developmental English or math. But this allows us to have more open admission policies because we have courses that students can take in order to improve their skills. We also offer free tutoring. So this is a wonderful place for students to come, develop their skills, and then it provides opportunity for them for advancement. Community colleges also have small classes. Usually when you think about small classes, you think high price, small classes, right? But community colleges have the best of both. We have lower prices than universities, and we have small classes, 25 to 35 students. So that's great. It's a wonderful experience for students. I started out at the University of Washington, and there were a few hundred students in my classes during the first, year one. 100, as many as 800 students in my math class. And their professor often, and during those first 2 years, doesn't come every day. They may come 1 or 2 days a week. The rest of the week, you may have a graduate student teaching your class, a teaching assistant. At community colleges, we have no graduate students teaching. We have no teaching assistants. We only have professors, master's, doctorate degree level, and they are at community colleges because their focus and their love is teaching, working with students. They don't have to do research and development like at many public universities. They teach. They work with students. And so those are some of the hallmarks of community colleges: small classes, quality instruction, interaction within the classroom with other students and with your professors. This usually translates into quality learning and often higher GPAs. The bachelor's degree in the U.S. is different than here in Hong Kong as well. We have a 4-year system. I understand things are changing here in Hong Kong. Things are a little wobbly, not quite sure how things may end up, but you're moving, I think, toward a 4-year program as well for baccalaureate, similar to the U.S., similar to mainland China. In the U.S., year 1 and year 2 of a bachelor's degree is what we call general education. And so those first 2 years, students are taking a variety of courses, some social sciences, some humanities, some natural sciences, and they're beginning to prepare for their major. But the major is what the students will focus on the 3rd year and the 4th year. So year 1 and year 2 at a community college, at Berkeley, at UCLA, at University of Washington, it's the same, general education. And because all across the country, students in these first 2 years are doing the same kind of curriculum, it's transferable. When a student gets an associate's degree, they can transfer it to New York if they're living in Washington State. They can transfer it to New York or to California, to a variety of universities, because we all have the same value, year 1 and year 2, general education. So you can see the model here, associate's degree, year 1 and year 2, you transfer into the 3rd year and you complete 2 more years. So if you did an Associate of Arts at a community college, you would transfer and do a Bachelor of Arts at the college or at the university, the 4-year institution. Associate of Science, Bachelor of Science. And these are typical Associate of Arts or Associate of Science majors. So if you're going to be planning on studying physics or pre-medicine, you're going to do that track, or biology, you would do an Associate of Science and a Bachelor of Science. If you're going into business or geography, you would do an Associate of Arts at the community college and then a Bachelor of Arts when you transfer.
So by attending the community college the first 2 years, you pay the community college tuition instead of the University of Washington or the private university costs, which are 3 to 4 to 5 times as much, and you end up with the same degree from the same colleges, from the Bachelor College.
So the question people have is, well, where can I transfer? What are my choices? There are literally thousands of universities in the United States. There are some universities that are lower level and have lower requirements for transfer and admission, and there are some very prestigious universities like Princeton and Yale and Harvard that have either, sometimes they don't accept any transfers because they want students for 4 years, or they will accept limited numbers and they will have high requirements. All of the 2-year schools and 4-year universities have agreements. So we have everything very carefully articulated for credit transfer. And 3 times a year, the 4-year institutions make visits to the community colleges to recruit students. So there's very active partnerships. For international students, above and beyond the 3 times a year when the local universities come, we invite out-of-state universities to come. And they're very eager to come and recruit international students. So this is just to, again, to show you that students can transfer all over the United States. And just because a school, perhaps you have an idea about a school that you'd like to transfer to, you'd like your son or daughter to transfer to, if it's not on the list, it doesn't mean they can't go there. It just means it's not on the list. You know, students routinely transfer to a variety of places, and there are thousands of options.